you may have noticed from my videos that I tend to curse. And believe it or not, when I was a little boy, uh, my parents were very strict about me not cursing. And when I was growing up, I was in elementary school, early years, and all the kids around me started cursing, saying all these bad words, but then I didn't because I was a good boy, right? And then one day, because I wasn't really swearing a lot, I didn't know swear words. So at home, I just kind of said something that I heard from school. And it turned out to be like a really, 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 really bad word in Korean. And my parents were just flabbergasted, looking at me like, what's wrong with this kid? And it was just that I had no idea that it was a cuss word, right? And so I thought at that moment it was the end of my world when my parents told me that's a very, really bad word, you shouldn't use it. And I was really scared for a second. Why? Because I grew up with this idea that something bad's gonna happen to me. And not swearing matters, right? But over time, my parents just didn't want me to cuss when I was a little kid. And over time, I became an adolescent, a teenager, and a young adult, and they stopped caring. So now you see me cursing all the time. Because why? I realized it doesn't really matter. This story is to illustrate a point. In your life, you may be afraid to make one step, and that's okay. You may be afraid of failure, and that's okay. But what you can learn from this story is over time and over experimentation and over iterations. When you learn that in the grand scheme of things, individual failures don't really matter that much in the long run, when you engage in a longer perspective, you realize that, wow, turns out individual failures don't really matter. When you materialize that, when you internalize that, when you experience it in your life, that is what being fearless is like. So, with that, you require a lot of reps, you require a lot of failures, right? But in the end, it's up to you to think about this long term vision. What if individual failures don't matter in the long run? And I wanted to implant that idea into your mind today.